Hey everyone, before we start, I just want to talk about Ekko's items and runes. And the first item that I go for is Rod of Ages. Ro is a perfect item for this champion because as an AP scaling assassin, he would benefit from the scaling AP that Roa gives, as well as give him more durability, not allowing Ekko to be easily bursted in team fights. An alternative item for this would be Luden's Ekko. If you only want to focus on assassinating the opponents, then this is a good item for you, but you have to be careful of your positioning because once you're caught, you're gonna be very squishy and can easily be bursted down. Then the second item that I would go for is Lichbane. This is a really staple item for this champion since he could easily proc the Sheen passive as well as benefit from the additional ability haste, AP, and move speed that it gives. Third item would be Ionian Stasis, since you would want to maximize Ekko's cooldown so that you would be able to spam your skills even more. Ionian Boots is the perfect item for him. And you would want to go for the Stasis enchant so that you could even buy more time or even combining it with the second skill Stasis combo. An alternative for Stasis would be the Proto Belt, and you'd only want to get this if you are ahead early game and would like to snowball the game. Then the next item that we go for is Rabadon's Death Cap. This makes Ekko's bursts a lot stronger and it amplifies both the Roa and Lichbane damage as well. Once you're able to complete this item, you would be able to one-shot the squishy carries. Fourth item depends on the opponents. If they have a lot of magic resist, you could go for the Void Staff. But if they're not building any MR, you could even go for the Infinity Orb, increasing your one-shot potential on the opposing carries. Then the last item is a flex, but I would usually go for Banshee's Veil because the spell shield is really good on trying to prevent Ekko from easily getting CC'd, and it also provides him with more AP and ability haste, which are two very good stats on Ekko. Alternative item for this would be Infinity Orb if you want to focus on your damage. The last alternative for this would be the Crystalline Reflector if you are playing into a heavy AD comp. Going to the runes, the first rune that I would go for is Electrocute. Since Ekko is an AP burst type assassin, this is the perfect rune for him so that you would be able to have a higher burst damage overall. Second rune would be Gathering Storm. Since you would want to scale into the late game, this is the perfect rune so that you would be able to get a lot of AP when you get to that stage of the game. An alternative for this would be Triumph. If you want to make your early game a bit stronger, this is another good rune since you would deal more damage if the opponents are low and get a bit more HP back. But personally, I am a fan of scaling, so I go for the Gathering Storm. Third rune that I would go for is Hunter Titan. This provides Ekko with more HP as well as tenacity if he is caught with crowd control. An alternative for this would be Nullifying Orb if they have a lot of burst type champions like Zed and not much CC. But generally, I go for the Hunter Titan because of the tenacity that it gives. Since we're not going for Mercury Threads, this is another good alternative that we could go for. Last rune that I would go for is Hunter Genius. Since we would want to maximize our ability haste, this is another rune that would decrease our cooldowns, allowing us to spam our skills more. Alternative for this would be Pathfinder if you want to focus on mobility. This is another great rune since it also helps restore your HP and mana when out of combat. But personally, I want to focus on the CDR and that's why I go for the Hunter Genius. So that is it for Ekko's items and runes, and I will see you guys in game. Going to the game, I'm going to be teaching you tips and tricks on how to use jungle effectively. And in this matchup, we're currently up against Yone, and then an Ekko versus Yone. It's pretty much even in the early game because both junglers would just like to farm their items. But once you get to the late game, this most likely would favor Yone because of his stronger late game scaling potential as well as his stronger team fight prowess. But Ekko also has a chance to outplay the opponents and possibly assassinate the opposing Yone. Here I switched to my control ward, put it on the top side of the river so that I would know which scuttler they might go. And the clear that I'm doing here is the red side start, where I go for my Krugs, red, Raptors, and Flex, depending on what would happen around the map. Ekko's clear is quite average even though he has gotten a slight buff on the jungle. And the reason why I go for skill 1 rather than skill 2 is because Ekko's first skill is a lot faster when clearing the smaller camps such as the Raptors or Krugs. If you want to start on the bigger camps like the red or blue buff, Ekko, going for second skill on Ekko at level 1 is also another possible option. But I go for the first skill because it's a lot more versatile. With regards with Ekko's clear, he doesn't have much cancel animation. All you have to do is auto attack skill, so that your clear would be as clean as possible. Then, usually I would go for a full clear, but since I saw an opportunity mid, Veigar is half HP, plus is a bit overextended, I go in for the gank, starting with the first skill, third skill, and then flashing Veigar's pillar. Yone tries to go for a counter gank, we get him pretty low. Lux is there as well, I try to help the Lux, but she unfortunately flashed, so I'm at a bad position. In the end, Lux is able to get the kill and a red buff, so that's gonna be a 2 for 1, which is good for us. With the death recap, I now go for a topside clear since only the topside camps are left. And looking at the state of the map, my Baron lane and Dragon lane are both able to get kills, which is good for me because this would allow me to be able to scale freely throughout the game. So once I'm able to learn my third skill, so all you have to do is auto attack, first skill, auto attack, third skill, first skill, and then just keep autoing. And while you're clearing the camps, always look at the map on any possible lanes to gank. I see that Yone is at the bot side. Veigar is very low as well in the mid lane. And I look to go for the Dragon lane because they're a bit overextended. If Thresh doesn't get a hook here, he's able to get a flay but not a hook. We try to dive the Seraphine, get her pretty low. Perfect stun as well. Our level 5, try to dodge tower aggro. We damage the Lucian as well. Our HP is a bit low and Lucian was able to outplay the 1v3, get a kill, but overall it's just a 1 for 1 trade. Plus it's important for me to get kills or assists so that I would be able to complete my Rod of Ages at the soonest possible time. So now that I have cleared the top camps, I go for my bot camps again. With the Krogs just spawned, this would give me a bit more XP since it's a second camp. When talking about Ekko's basic combo, you would always want to use your first skill before using the third skill so that your first skill would go back faster, making your burst a bit faster as well. Because if you go for the third skill auto first skill, then the first skill when going back would take a bit longer than just casting it before using your third. But if the opponent is pretty far, then you have no choice but to go for the third skill, auto attack first skill. With the red spawning, I try to take it, look on which part of the map I could go. Ashe gets a great cross-map hook, Seraphine is pretty low, we get another kill, and we're off to a very good start. With this, my row is now completed, and completing it at the 4-minute mark is pretty decent, and this would allow me to be a bit more durable, preventing me from getting bursted down, as well as get a good scaling when we get into the later stages of the game. So the only thing that I'm doing here right now is just farming my camps while waiting for the objectives to spawn. Usually I would go for the Rift Herald here, but in this situation where my team is able to get a strong early game lead, I might be going for the Dragon instead so that we would have the late game scaling potential for us as well. Seraphine is playing a bit greedy, he's able to remove her ward, use the second skill and try to get a stun off. She dodges it, but it's okay. What's important is that we're able to get priority on our side lane, and this would probably translate to us being able to start on the Dragon buff. Before the Dragon spawns, I just go for the blue. This would be perfect timing. Ashe has gotten to base as well, and this might be a potential 5v5, or the opponents might just trade the objective. Looking at the map, Yone is at the top side, which means he's here to contest. Their Sion is at the bot side, so this is gonna be a favorable fight for us, 5v4. Seraphine gets a great ult, so what I'm doing here is trying to position myself not to get bursted by the opponent. Forced to use my ultimate, and thanks to the Rod of Ages, I'm a bit tanky. Look for any isolated targets. I see that Lucian is away, and since I'm a bit low on HP, I get some fruits. Their jungle is down, and this would translate to a Dragon for our team. The only downside here is that even though we're able to win the team fight and get the objective, their Sion is able to freely farm and get first tower bot. So the opponents are still able to get a slight trade overall. And with Sion completing Hullbreaker, this would be very hard to deal with later on because we don't have a strong split pusher that can fight the Sion. Rift Herald is being started by the opponents. I try to position myself. So what's very important in the team fights is how to use your second skill. You would always want to use it on objective to wreak as much havoc as possible. We get a stun onto the Seraphine. Herald is pretty low. Sion is able to secure it with his first skill. I have my dash to go away. I still have ulti to go back just in case. Yone dives in, so I try to bait Yone with my ultimate. Use it to dodge a skill. Lux is able to get a kill, and we're able to win the fight. Unfortunately, we're not able to get the Rift Herald, but it's okay and worth it on our end because we're able to get a lot of gold from it. The only thing lacking right now is getting some kills, but based on what's happening on the game, things are going pretty well. My teammates are deciding to push mid lane, even though the opponents are able to get the Rift Herald. We're able to take down their mid tower. It's not the first tower anymore because Sion was able to take our bot tower, but it's okay. And at this point, we're able to complete our Lich Bane, which would greatly increase our damage output, allowing us to try and burst squishy targets from full to about 1/4 HP. Ekko's true power spike is when you're able to complete 3 items with a stacking Roa, plus Lich Bane, and Rabadons. Because if once you're able to complete the big 3 items, then Ekko's spike will be really, really strong. Veigar is a bit overextended, so I go in for a gank. Use the second skill, even though Veigar is able to dodge it. He's now out of position. Ultimate to secure the kill since he was trying to get back. Try to damage the Yasuo a bit, get him to 1/4 HP, and even at 2 items, I'm able to deal a lot of damage. Tristana's playing a bit greedy. He's able to take down the Yasuo, but I want to help the Trist, but I'm out of HP and I don't have ultimate. Tristana's able to live with 1 HP, which is good. Another tip when playing Ekko is don't be too greedy, especially if your ulti is not up, because your ulti is basically your get out of jail for free option. So if you don't have ultimate, flash, or stasis, it's very, very hard to engage with Ekko. Another fight happens up top. I use my second skill to try and cover any flanks. Get 2 kills. My team is doing pretty well, and we're probably in a position to basically snowball the game. Despite not having any frontline, my laners are doing pretty well. And with this, I'm able to buy my boots, buy a rod, and look for any possible ganks or just farm my own jungle. So there's no pressure on me right now. All I have to do is just farm up, get my items, so that I would be able to become even a lot more scarier when the game progresses. Sion is in the bush. We try to poke him a bit, and one of Ekko's main weakness is enemy champions that have Hull Breaker. It's taking me a bit of a long time to take down the Sion, so I get the fruit instead. Try to bait the Lucian going in. I still have ultimate. I use the second skill on the fruits. Lucian falls for the trap. I get exhausted, forced to flash out, but I still have my ultimate to go back just in case Lucian wants to chase. Unfortunately, he doesn't. He respects the fight and just goes back instead. So I'm forced to burn a flash, but we're able to get Lucian's exhaust out, which we could probably use on when the objectives will spawn. My ulti is still up as well, so what I'm probably gonna do here is look for any possible people to assassinate. Sion is a bit out of position, and since his teammates were a bit close, his Hull Breaker was negated. With only half HP, I just ward the Rift Herald just in case they might start, or I try to look for a fight myself. I was supposed to go back here, but since I saw that my team was in position to contest, so I decided to not go back and just get the fruits on the side. This is pretty a free Rift Herald for us. I use my second skill again to catch the enemy carry, get pretty low, and if you see there's an HP bar right after Ekko's bar, normal bar, and the additional HP bar that's a bit transparent is how much HP I will get when I use my ultimate. this does not account anti-healing, so if the opponents have anti-healing, then expect it to be halved by a bit. Sion is split pushing again, and this is one of Ekko's biggest weakness, which are champions that use Hull Breaker or are inherently tanky because I would not be able to burst them down. So even though Sion is not noticing me, I'm not able to deal much damage and I easily lose the trade. But since my teammates are here, I'm more confident. What I just want to get here is possibly an assist, but getting a kill is really good as well. Forced to use my ultimate just in case Sion might be able to auto-attack me because I was one auto away from dying. And looking at the map, all of my camps are back up. And I would want to get my level 13 plus 3 items because not only getting 3 items are important, my level 3 ultimate as well, because this would allow me to spam my ulti when in team fights because it's gonna be placed in such a low cooldown. So first skill, third skill auto. Try to burst the blue buff as fast as possible and get my level 13. Look for another overextended lane. Yone is trying to cover the Veigar. I saw Veigar at the top side a while ago, so I choose to just look for another spot. Take out their ward, and Sion is pushing bot again, so that might be a possible rotation. Since their Sion is playing very greedy, not going back to the base. So Sion might be a champion I might kill. Seraphine face checks. I'm able to get her pretty low. First skill, third skill, auto attack, proc the passive, and ultimate up. And look at how fast the ultimate is. After 15 seconds, I have my ulti again, which would allow me to all in another opponent. My team gets another fight bot side. They take down the Veigar plus Sion. Forced to flash out because my HP is pretty low. But this would open up the Baron fight because four members of the opposing team are down right now. And what I'm doing here right now is I'm just spamming my ultimate because this would put my HP back. And Yone tries to go for a steal, but we're able to secure it properly. Plus, get a kill as well. The only thing here now, or the only thing left is to just take down the inhibitors. We have Baron buff plus Rift Herald. I'm also able to get my power spike right now, currently at level 13, and we have a lot of damage that we can deal to the opponents. Plus, we're also very mobile since we have the usage of the ultimate. What I could have done here is after recalling, I can just use my ulti to go back to lane, which should be a bit faster, and since my cooldown is on a pretty low cooldown, then I would not waste much time. Another fight happens, but I place my Herald on the top side so that it would slow push and try to buy time for the Sion. 3 of my members are down. I tried to look for someone to burst, but as soon as I saw that their Yone used the Zhonya's, I had to use my ultimate. But it's worth it because my ulti is on a very, very low cooldown. And it's something that I could abuse when it comes to the team fights. Veigar is playing a bit greedy. I try to do some damage test. Third skill, auto first. Proc the passive. Remove their carry, and this is Ekko's potential. This is the part where I have a lot of stacks on my Roa plus Gathering Storm. Use my second skill to try and zone the opponent. Wait for someone to overextend. I still have my ultimate close to me, and we just go burst the Youth Lucian instead. Seraphine gets us to 1 HP, but look how much HP the ultimate gives me. Even at 1 HP, I was able to get my HP back to about 3/4. And this goes to show Ekko's potential in the late game. So we still have the Baron buff. Use my second skill. Perfect Flay by Thresh. Get a 2-man stun. Remove the Seraphine from the equation. The only champion left is the Yone. What I'm doing here is trying to bait a skill. And as soon as I see Veigar use the ultimate, I can use my ultimate to dodge Veigar's skill as well. So what happened here is Veigar used Flash Ultimate. It's traded to my own ultimate, which is something that I would take any time of the day. I could have went for the Banshee's Veil here to prevent any crowd controls, but I went for the Void Staff instead because after looking at their Yona's items, he has two Magic Resist, which are the Wit's End plus Hexdringer. So I went for the Void Staff so that I would still be able to burst down their Yone if placed in a bad position. With the dragon spawning, this is an easy secret for us. 2 inhibitors down plus their jungler is still at the graveyard. Once we secure the dragon buff, all we have to do is just position ourselves for the win. Probably take Baron or just straight up push bot lane in order to end the game. I see that Lucian is trying to get their own blue buff. We missed it, but it's okay. We're pretty ahead in the game. I'm almost item locked. Actually, I'm already item locked if I'm able to go back and buy my Banshee's Veil. Ash is trying to buy time. Thresh is there to help for a lantern, but me and Tristana are just focusing on trying to complete the Baron as soon as possible. Even though the opponents are able to get 2 kills, I think this is worth it for us because we're able to probably use the Baron to end the game. I see Veigar use his 3rd skill, so this is an opportunity for me to go in. The reason why I used my ultimate too quickly is because I'm afraid of Veigar's ultimate. Because if I waited for my first skill to come back, then this would give the Veigar a window to ult me down. So I played it a bit safe, and I was hoping my skill 1, when it goes back, it would hit the Veigar. Unfortunately, he's able to dodge it, but it's still good for us because we're able to get Baron buff, which could possibly just end the game. I don't know why I'm still farming. All I did here was get the red buff and then try to look for another fight. Looking at the positioning of the opponents, I don't think they're gonna go out of base anytime soon. Lux does half HP onto the Veigar. We try to poke the Sion down, force the flash out, which is already decent for us. And even Sion would be a bit squishy since we're able to complete our Void Staff. So second skill again, try to look for someone that's out of position. The opponents are able to dodge it properly, but what I'm doing here is just trying to buy some time because as soon as the bot wave crashes, then this would be a huge way for us to end the game. Second skill, I don't reach because of the multiple crowd controls, but I spam my ultimate, got them pretty low, get my whole HP back, and this is another potential of why Roa is really good because it gives you even more HP. We take down the Lucian with our skill 1 going back, and with the Lux Sion the only ones left, this most likely would be a GG. Try to get some KDA, but my teammates did pretty well, and we're able to end the game in a very, very good note. Looking at the rank achieved, GM plus 95%. We get MVP. Played pretty well. Good, a lot of assists, a lot of kills. And look at the damage I dealt. I'm an assassin, by the way. And looking at the gold, look how much gold I have. I'm currently at 1k GPM. And with that, I hope you guys enjoyed our Jungle Echo. Stay safe, enjoy your day, and peace out. Ciao, ciao. Bye. I'm finally facing it all, fearless.